Bruce, thanks for taking the time to join me again. I understand Anson has some very exciting ground in Western Australia, particularly around Anson's Bull project, which sits adjacent to Chalice Gold Mines Julimar discovery. You reported earlier this week that a geophysical interpretation has identified 3 major targets of the Bull project. Can you start by providing listeners with a bit more detail on these targets?
Sure, and nice to talk to you again, Alex. We've been working on base metal projects, PGE projects in Western Australia, accumulating a few of those over the past couple of years, and it's great to see there's renewed interest in base metals. The Bull project, of course, is close to Julimar, which is, of course, the main project which everyone's got a lot of interest in at the moment. And we've been doing a little bit of work there to refine the target areas, and we've identified 3 so far in the western side of the tenement area for base metals and for PGE. So we're doing it as the next stage of having identified those. We're getting some people on the ground to take some rock chips, have those assayed, and then we can determine how that looks compared to other area in the same region. And we think that'll probably take about a month for the assay results to be completed. We're not quite sure how that will pan out, given the current situation created by COVID and also a lot of the exploration activity that's going on around Western Australia. But we're working on that and moving forward as quickly as we can.
Thanks, Bruce. So you've expanded your land holding at the Bull project by almost 50% to 82 square kilometres. It appears a very strategic move given nearly all the area surrounding Chalice's Julimar discovery is occupied. Can you elaborate for us on how you managed to secure that extensive holding, and why is it becoming a key focus for Anson?
Well, I guess to answer the last part of your question, there's a lot of interest in the area. Certainly a very exciting find that Chalice Gold Mines has got there. So I think that's what's generating it. We added on about another, I think it was about 46% of land area, primarily to the south of our existing first tenement we had there, and also the one to the west. And the reason we picked those areas up is once we'd done the reinterpretation or reprocessing of the data that was done by a previous geophysical study there, we identified that there were some targets to the south, and as that was available, we picked up the ground. We are now on the eastern and northern side, contained by Chalice, so we're abut Chalice's ground in 2 places there. So there's not much ground left around our area at all. It's a good point that you make about the surrounding areas. It's because it's quite a busy area now. A lot of people doing some things, but we think we've got an area which is a long strike from what Chalice has, the Julimar project. So we think we've really got something of interest, and we hope we convert that into something which will provide shareholder value.
I understand you've also commenced sampling in and around the project area. Can you give us a rough exploration timeline for the Bull project, and how does this program fit alongside development work at your Paradox Brine project in Utah?
The work that we're doing at the moment is fairly low cost, and it's not overly onerous to conduct this type of work. We have people on the ground at the moment collecting samples from those 3 target areas that we have identified recently, and those samples will be taken and assayed. So that's fairly simple work. We're not at the moment on the ground drilling, but we do have, because of the flexibility that we have and the technical capability that we have, we're able to run projects both in Western Australia and Utah simultaneously. Here in Utah, it's a matter of progressing along with the PFS to further define the economic viability or the return on investment that the shareholders can expect, and that's progressing despite there not being that many things to announce. There's a lot of things going on at the moment. We're moving ahead with both projects simultaneously, and we have that capacity to do that.
Obviously, as we've discussed, the Bull project is in a highly sought-after exploration address with Chalice's Julimar discovery right next door. From the early work you guys have done, has your team been able to draw any comparisons to Julimar?
Yes, we have. It's a good question, Alex. There's some very early stage similarities to Julimar. And you can see that from the TMI image, which shows a distinct ovoid shape there with an anomaly about 1,200 metres by 600 metres, which looks similar to the Chalice Gold Mine Julimar nickel copper PG high-grade discovery. Just looking at it, it does look very similar. And considering the similar magnetic structures on trend from the Julimar discovery, the open nature of the deposit, we believe that the Bull is highly prospective for something similar, nickel, copper, PGEs possibly, and mineralisation, and has the potential to host an extension or repeats of a similar polymetallic ore body.
And just finally, Bruce, you've made some strong progress of late with respect to reviewing the Ajana project in WA's Midwest. What's the latest here, and when do you anticipate exploration to commence?
Yeah, Ajana is quite an interesting project. It's an area which has been previously mined for lead, and there's also zinc there, and the zinc wasn't mined. The lead was used for ballast in ships in the old days. There's been a fair amount of exploration activity over the area, and we've identified that there's grades there which have been taken out of mine shafts. So these are not drilling results, but they're from existing shafts where people have gone down and they've taken the rocks out of the wall, and they've got returns and grades of up to 77% lead, 68% zinc, and up to 78 grams per tonne of silver. And what we intend to do is to do some drilling a little bit deeper and a little bit wider from what has been done before, and that will help us to define a JORC resource. And in addition to that, to establish a box starter pit, or if you like, trial mining pit that we can access, so be open cut. We'll dig down to about 10 metres deep that the pit will go to the area where they previously put the shafts and took the lead from, and whether it's zinc and silver is known to be. And we'll use that to do some processing test work to extract those minerals. But also, if there's sufficient resource, we'll look to perhaps selling some of that and get into early cash flow. So a brownfields project rather than a greenfields project, and a bit quicker to get into production. So before we do that, we have to complete all the regulatory approvals. And the one that we're completing at the moment is we have some people going in there looking for archaeological sites, so the native title clearance. That's what we're doing. That'll take some weeks, I think. Not a large area that we need to clear, because we'd previously cleared some of that for our graphite project that we did there a few years back. But we'll get that done, I think, very soon. And this area that we're targeting, the Ethel Maud area, it's not within a cultural area. There's no cropping there. It's a mining area, previously been mined. And we expect that once that the final sort of native title clearance is given, we'll be able to get on there and start this project. So, we should be able to be there towards the end of the year or early next year, and then we can see exactly what we've got from the drilling program.
Fantastic, Bruce. Really appreciate you joining me today. Thanks for the update, and we'll chat soon.
Okay. Thanks, mate. Talk to you later.